Basically, I think the attitude that you need to have is that when you create, it's your work. Okay, so that means all the rights that are attached to this work are yours. Now, when the client comes to you, most of the clients are uneducated or poorly educated in this field. So they say, I want all the rights. All right? No. Do you want what? Is it for an ad? Fine. On which channels or then you make an agreement that this is done only for this particular advertisement for a particular duration. An advertisement, you never demand rights in perpetuity because you're not going to show the advertisement after 50 years. All right. So it's 2 years, it is 5 years or whatever. So just limit it to the rights that he requires and not give him all the rights.
That the job is coming to you because you deserve it. This thing of, no, if you don't do it, there are 100 other people do it. Fine, that's a great thing for them to tell you, but there is a reason why it's come to you, right? Is the reason only and only that you're cheap and that you don't have you don't have a name for yourself? That can't be the only reason, correct? Yes, you might be probably cheaper than the rest of them. Agreed. You might probably be more new, relatively new than the others, but that does not mean anything. And the fact is, if I meet a director like that, first thing I'll tell the director, the royalty money that comes in is again something that the director is not giving me. It's coming from registered bodies because you're and I mean today we have a solid law in place which protects that.
Well, they are going to register it. It's not you, because they are the publishers. Yeah. So usually, globally, the performing right, the publisher has no right to collect the author's share. So as far as performing right is concerned, authors are safe. You may have signed whatever damn agreement that, you have given everything away, even your cats and dogs, but 50% of the performing right is going to be paid to the lyricist and the composer, because that's a CSAC rule. CSAC is the apex body that controls all the IPRSs of the world. One. Second will be the other rights, especially the mechanical, the reproduction right, where usually the publisher collects 100% and then pays the author. And why is that so? Because in the West, publishers always give advances. When they sign an author or a composer, they give an advance.
Yeah.
Nobody signs with you if you don't give them an advance, because that's the way it is. So if I am a publisher and I want to recoup the money that I gave her or him, I need a way to recoup it. So I will collect 100% for the reproduction right and for the synchronization rights, and then I will account to them and say, I give you this much minus this, so I owe you this much or whatever. So basically what the Copyright Act says, I don't care whatever agreement you have signed. You may have sold your grandmother, but 50% has to be paid to you. So this right to royalty is unwaivable, you can't waive it, and it is unassignable, you cannot transfer it to someone else. So whatever they make you to sign is illegal. 50% has to be paid to you. Now, how are you going to get this 50%? The only way to get this 50% is to join the society that has recently been recognized again as by government. We have received a certificate. We are again a copyright society. Is IPRS. Now IPRS is no more only a performing rights society. It also manages the mechanicals and it manages the sync deals, which means that if a label or publisher does a sync right, one of your songs which was written 10 years ago, suddenly somebody wants to make a remix and include in a new film, as has happened recently with Javed Saab. There is a case going on. 50% of that deal has to be paid to you. So we have an agreement with all the labels who are in IPRS, and that is why T-Series is not yet there, Yashraj are not there, Heroes are not there. Those who are in IPRS have agreed that when we do a sing deal, it will be a tripartite between us, the client, and IPRS. The client, we will negotiate the price, not IPRS, because it's publisher's song. So he will, and he's a businessman. So he can negotiate the maximum. So he will negotiate the price, and then the client, and we'll issue the license, the client will pay 50% to him, and 50% to IPRS to be paid afterwards to the lyricist and the composer. So in fact, IPRS today is going to administer all your rights. Okay, one. Second, IPRS can administer your rights only if you are a member of IPRS and if all your works are registered.
I just want to answer that question. Like everybody comes across like saying, why don't you have a standard contract? So you have different modes of working. You work for TV serials, you work for advertisements, you work for web series, you work for AVs, you work for films, you work for telefilms. You can't have one size fits all.
No, you have to have different contracts.
Also another thing is that everybody negotiates 99% of their contracts the way they want to negotiate it. You cannot take away the freedom of an individual or corporate to negotiate a contract the way they want it.
That's not entirely correct. You see, in the US, you have the guilds. Right?
Yeah.
You're a member of a guild.
No, we do have.
If a producer, I am not agreeable, to sign this, then nobody of that guild is going to work with the producer.
But let me again say there, I just want to, we have a recommended contract that the MCAI has circulated. This is a contract that the MCAI recommends that you sign.
For advertising, there's definitely there.
Yeah.
Which is a recommended contract. You want to add more, you can.
It's on your website.
It's on the MCAI website. You need to be a member though.
You can download a template from there. Yeah, and the thing is that beyond that, it's up to the two people who are there. Now, as Achille said, yes, in the US they do it. It's a different system there. But here, you need to have everybody agreeing not to sign that. It's a very difficult situation.
No, I'll tell you where the problem comes is, let me put it this way, as a trade union, we cannot be imposing laws. You getting it? As a trade union, we can have suggested practice. Okay?
Not really, I would think.
As a trade union, yes. I cannot impose your business. I can't say you have to transact like
It's
this.
tantamount to restraint of trade.
Yes, I can't say you have to conduct your business in this manner. I can. No, I was saying that we have a standard contract, which if you think, we have suggested a contract. But if you're going to download that and add a few or remove a few, I cannot come as a trade union and say you cannot do that. Basic thing. See, essentially it will be a job. What is the job that you're doing, right? Which company are you working for? If you're doing an ad, for example, you write your whatever your master duration is, you write the edits, all the information that the job has, the director of the job. Yeah, what are you giving? Are you giving a license? Are you giving a license for 1 year? Are you giving it for 2 years? Are you giving it for 10 years? Are you giving it for perpetuity? Is your territory India? Is it global? So those are the things that you could say it's like one step of a contract, which does not get into heavy duty languages, but you're at least writing the broader bullet points in your transaction, so that there is a larger understanding of things, that it's a license and it's for this job. I've also had a case where I've given license for perpetuity for a particular brand, and they just read the word perpetuity. They didn't read the word license. And they went and took the track and put it on other commercials of the same brand. And when I called them up, they're saying, yeah, but you said perpetuity. I said, but perpetuity has got to do with term. It doesn't have anything to do with the fact that you're, it's a license at the end of the day. And the license is for this particular ad. It's not for some other ad that I'm doing. So these are some things that, one can write in your invoice knowingly. Now again, if I had written license for perpetuity by copying it from somebody else's invoice without knowing, you would have said, "Ha, sir, aap barabar bol rahe hain," kept the phone down. So you have to know what you're writing. Are you writing license? Are you writing perpetuity? And not write things like supervision fee because you're not a supervisor. You know, if you want all those details, you can mention in your invoice.